Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
Griff.
Bucket.
So guys.
Sup?
Hello.
Okay, first disclaimer. I've got a football game on the side screen right here. It's an important one for me.
For him to ignore us.
So I might kind of do some weird, thing. So just be ready in case I get excited for no reason that's not part of the conversation.
He's
Normally,
gonna
I
be
don't
one of those
watch
football
it.
fans that runs away, comes back 5 minutes later with no shirt, but his chest is painted or something. Just ignore it. It's fine.
I don't think I'm going to go that far.
You could.
I might jostle a little bit or startle somebody. Everybody's just looking at me. Or jump into the conversation entirely wrong.
Or respond to something we said 15 minutes ago because you're on a football delay.
I'm on a football delay. You gotta love the football delays.
I mean,
It's a real thing, I'm pretty sure.
it could be.
Yeah,
It
it's
could
definitely
be.
a real thing. It happens.
Oh, I just saw one of the articles. I don't know how I skipped over, but it has a cute rock face. It's the Sea of Thieves article. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It caught me off guard. It's so adorable.
Well, I mean, we can start with that one. It's a small article. We'll go ahead and get through some of the news.
That
Sea
was
of
not
Thieves
on
is doing
purpose.
their...
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's fine. They got the season 11 update coming soon. They just came out with season 10, which offered safer seas and the several reworks for the game and whatnot. It's good. I don't play it a lot, so I don't feel like I have a good argument against this. But the big update for this one is fast travel.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an interesting thing on that one because I actually, like, for people like us that have had bad experiences picking up whatever it is we wanted to do and move from point A to point B only to be wrecked by whoever it was that was on the other end of it is irritating. The other part about that is because of the way the system was set up, now let's say you safely made it to where you needed to go and you picked up your items and you needed to go turn them in. That's the only way you could get credit before to actually to increase your reputation. Now what they've done is they've made it to where you stay on the boat, you choose where you want to go, then you can fast travel or you can travel the old school way if you like picking this stuff up along the way or maybe visiting the islands, whatever you want to do. Or like me, just shoot yourself out of a cannon even if you're playing solo onto an island. But what also they did is once you have received whatever item it is that you were going after, so whatever accomplishment that you have made, you get a partial credit. Then once you turn it in, you get the other credit. So basically,
Okay.
let's say they're giving you a quarter or half credit until you turn it in.
So, like, if you get robbed halfway there, you don't lose everything.
Right, because if you choose to fast travel to another location, let's say you're being hit, and you're like, fuck these guys, right? You hit the button, and you go underseas. Everything on your boat floats to the surface. They can grab your stuff and go, but you at least receive some type of credit.
Okay.
But I also can see it as... because one of the things that they mentioned on here as well is the world events, what used to be the world events for like the forts and things like that, you now can choose those and fast travel to them. Which means to me that because before it was a live event, right? So now to me, that would mean that if I'm a Reaper, I see the skull up in the sky, I hit my button and pop up next to your ship and just obliterate you because even though you fast traveled there, I know where your location is going to be.
Yeah.
But which is, I guess that's the way that the game would shift. I like the premise. I really do, especially since now that they've created it to where you can create your own server and play that way. For the safer seas option, especially me having kids, I want them to be able to play the game and enjoy it. And then they're only worried about the environmental issues with the game. But I am interested to see once that goes live on the 23rd of this, well, two days when it goes
By the time
live.
the show's out.
Yeah. When that goes live on the 23rd, within the week, how people are reacting to that, because that is going to be very different.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think my biggest, like, I get it. I'm glad that they didn't make it so that you could fast travel back with your stuff. You can only fast travel with
Like
nothing.
to the
So
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
to the
Mhm.
thing, which I think is okay. That's good. But in my eye, Sea of Thieves, one of the biggest draws to it is the travel, like
Actually
the
going there.
mechanics. Yeah, the actual mechanics of it. And like some other games, when they're built and then they have fast travel in it, exploration is part of it, and then being able to fast travel is just kind of being able to get around faster. But with Sea of Thieves, the ship movement is like
A
integral
core
to the
mechanic.
game. Yeah, in my opinion. So adding the fast travel is almost like cutting a piece of the core game out, which again, I'm very happy that yeah, you can fast travel to it, but at least you have to sail back somewhere.
Well,
So
and I like the aspect of, you're a kid or adult or whatever, and you're playing the game, and you get to your location, right? You fast travel to your location, you go in there, and then spouse comes in or mom comes in and is like, "Hey, it's time for dinner." You go, "Okay, let me dig this up real quick." Boom, partial credit. All right, I'm gone. You know what I mean? You can log right
mhm.
out. You've gotten your partial credit. Um, and so I feel like it's kind of with our busy lifestyles we tend to have nowadays,
Yeah, it's
or
it's a little bit more acceptable for it.
yeah, because
Uh
it takes forever sometimes, especially if you don't get the wind.
100%. I think that's what they should have done instead is add a way to change the winds to help give you a little boost or something, uh, so that you could travel a little bit faster
I mean,
regularly.
Valheim has that option. One of the gods in Valheim will end up giving you an option to be able to. You always have the wind behind you,
Yes.
so you can, so maybe a power up of some sort. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I'd like that. Uh, I think one of the funny things that might end up falling out of something like this is that you're going to get a ship with a ton of loot, and somebody's going to try to attack them, and they're going to fast travel to an island that's nearby. So you drop all your loot, they're going to come over and get it, and then the other ship that just fast traveled to the island right next door is going to come flying in to attack them, take
Hmm.
their loot, and pick up theirs. So I mean, like
Hmm.
a little bait and switch.
Maybe. I will say at least they waited this long after release to do something like this because it would intrinsically change the game if the game was a year old and you're adding a fast travel versus it being okay. A lot of people that are still playing the game and have been playing or have sailed enough that this is now an acceptable addition.
I've seen this before with another game you guys might have seen called World of Warcraft. When you casualize the game to where like this is just a step. It always starts with just a step before you casualize it super hard to where you start removing parts of the game to make it easier and more accessible. So it's a very fine line that they have to walk to where they still make their game engaging and fun and the mechanics are still important, but not too casual to where you just kind of blip around the map and you're just looking for rewards rather than the adventure.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
So
You do want it to still feel like the rewards are worth it, not just I'm going here to pick up as much money as possible.
yeah, you want to play the game, not just earn the rewards.
Well,
And that's what Sea of Thieves has done well.
and I think one of the things they've done too is they've, like with this update, they're also changing some of the loot. So it's not the same type of loot every time you go. You got your captain's chest and stuff like that, and every time you have the rare one, instead of be like if you're on this type of mission, this type of loot you get. Like one of my favorite items they ever added in the game, you could hardly find it after a while. But if you all remember, there was a chest, and I cannot remember the name of the chest now. I think it was the Hades chest or something like that. But it would get angry and catch on
Explode.
fire.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
remember
so
that one.
everybody had to put water in the bottom of their boat and stuff. But if you got into the
Mhm.
water, it would boil. It's
Yeah.
like you had this whole setup. And I thought it was such a cool thing to have because some of us would go put them on other people's boats,
Watch
drive
them
it
catch fire.
and watch them
Yeah.
catch fire because they're on an island or something somewhere, and all of a sudden their shit's on fire. But I always thought it was neat that they had these different types of chests, and you had to adjust your gameplay based on it. The crying chest, things like that.
Yeah, that was
Which
my
the
favorite.
which the crying chest is still in the game, but it's just it's one of those where they took the other one out, and I don't understand, or not really took it out, but it's not there as much.
It's rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Probably because people were doing what you were with them, which is saving them and then throwing them on people's ships unsuspectingly. So it was almost being used as a form of griefing.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, that's like I just thought about it too. And Chicken was talking about the idea of fast traveling by moving quicker and having a way to boost yourself that way. You would have to be, if you gave that option, you would have to shut cannons down, because otherwise you're going to be able to scoot up right up on top of somebody very quickly.
Yeah,
and
have a
beat
delayed
them.
access to your cannon. So yeah, you can fly in, but you're not going to immediately fly in and start shooting.
Yeah.
Nope. You're going to get annihilated from somebody that's moving at a slower rate.
I like that. Look, game devs, get on this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, Sea of Thieves is still in a great place, 100%. You just got to be careful where you want to keep taking these steps at, because the first set of fast travel is removing a piece of the game. You're exchanging it for something simpler, which is okay. Good. You're keeping the back half the same. Good. Be careful.
I wonder if it's
how many
server
steps
swapping
you want
too.
to take.
What do you mean?
That, with how quick they do server swapping, I would not be surprised.
So basically, when you go underwater, because you actually see your characters underwater and everything else based on the way the video shows, I'm wondering if that's putting you in a small instance and then putting you in a different server. So when you start and you pick where you want to go and you hit the travel button, it pops you into a different server. And it's just finding that's a load screen to get to the next server.
Yeah, because remember, whenever you were sailing around, all you would get was these little words over your screen, and boom, you change servers. So going under the water kind of lets you change servers too.
I'm wondering if that's what it ends up doing, which is, it's kind of a nice way to swap servers. Because one of the things I used to do is, if we had a lot of people that were griefing us, is we would go in and we would start one of the Pirates Life campaigns that had the instance in it, and then go into the Pirates Life one, and then exit out of the Pirates Life one
and change servers,
and it would change servers for you. So especially as you said, a lot of Reapers and stuff on the very first at the very first.
Interesting.
So I'm sure it's going to be interesting to see how people change their gameplay. You might have a lot of people drop that are normally Reapers. So some of the PvP aspect might stop, especially since they don't have an outlet for PvP anymore, because they don't have the arena, which I thought was a great design but they didn't like it compared to the regular game.
right?
And there's always been a rumor that they were going to create PvP servers, exclusive PvP servers, but I don't think PvP people want exclusive PvP servers, because they don't want people to fight back.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean,
that has always
rather
been the
have
problem
fun.
with Sea of Thieves.
They'd rather have fun picking on the people that aren't interested in it.
Yeah, and then they'll complain because they're like, learn to fight, learn to do this, learn to whatever. Yeah, I mean, I've known
Sometimes
several
people
of
don't
them.
want to play like that. Like, they just want to sail and have an adventure mode, which Safe for Thieves fits that. It's good.
Right, definitely. It lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to. For the, it's gonna be the short one. There's not a lot on that one.
yeah.
Well,
Let's see how the others go.
We've had a lot of history with Sea of Thieves. We've been following it since before it even released. We got beta access or alpha access.
and beta.
Yeah, it played in the beta. Like, we were there at the very beginning, and we have watched this game, which we've all said at the very beginning, this game is something. Like, it's going to go somewhere. And we're on 11 season updates, and it has gone through so much incredible change. Massive kudos to Rare for having such a wildly popular gem.
Right.
I mean, they even did the battle pass and the microtransactions, right, too? Like, if Griff wouldn't slap me, I'd give it a big old round of applause right now.
Why would I slap you? Oh, because clapping. Yes, okay. I thought you meant for the thought. No.
No. The thought is what counts. The clapping is what gets me slapped.
I mean, next
Clapping
month will
leads to
be
slap.
next month or March, one or the other. It's going to
I
be
think it's
6 months
March. I think it's March.
or 6 years.
Yeah, I
It's
was
gonna
gonna
be
say
6 years.
months. You mean for
6
the
years.
patch? 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Uh,
My caffeine isn't kicked in yet, so
Chug. That's right.
or just
sip.
Yep,
Sip,
sip.
everybody. Sip. Stay
Sip them
hydrated.
tasty.
Throwback to I don't even know when that song came out. Anyway, what else were you to talk about? What else did we find in the news that caught your attention?
You want to do the other
news,
short one? We'll do the other short one because we don't have much talk.
Go right
on that
ahead.
one.
I like
I'm
when you say
copying and pasting
short.
right-
I don't believe you anymore.
I'm copying and pasting right now. See,
The
we're on
Halo
same
TV
page.
show one?
Yes, that's
Yes.
the one.
Okay. From what I have read in this article, Halo Season 2 is coming out. I plan on watching the first season, but I've read that the general census of the first season, it wasn't, super good. There were some issues here and there.
It had a
and,
Chevy Tahoe in it.
Even the main character didn't care much for the sex scene because it felt so out of place, and apparently he argued pretty hard against it because
Yeah, and then
it
he's like,
just
what am I going to
fit.
do? I'm just the actor. I don't get to
I'm
write
the actor.
it.
I can't tell them to not do that. So
Right.
But
was
at
like,
least he
no,
was
but-
on the right side, right?
So, but the second season is supposed to be a lot better, which this is the make or break point. You learn from the first season. You be better second season and stay closer to the style of the Halo universe. And also there was an argument, I think it was the actor too, who said that you need the reason why he took off his mask is because he needed to convey emotions properly, and you can't do that properly with a mask on, which I disagree with. There have been plenty of options where characters wear masks that you can convey what they're trying to talk about.
I mean, there's a whole
or how they feel.
machinima that does nothing but helmets
the
on. Red
Mandalorian
versus
went
blue,
masked for a while. You have what is it? Shit.
You should have come up with a list before we started the show.
There was a list. There's another one. There's Rorschach, which most of the time he keeps his mask on too. And even with the mask on, you could still get the emotions he's trying to convey.
Well, but his with Rorschach, to be fair, the ink blot that's on his face conveys the information you're looking at as well.
True. That's true. I'll give you that one.
But it's an ink blot, so it's all up for interpretation anyway.
Yeah.
The Guy Fawkes movie, the Guy Fawkes mask.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, V for Vendetta. He wears the mask the whole time.
Yeah, but let's be fair. His emotions are one emotion.
Still able to understand it, right? He's still able to convey that emotion.
Here's my thing. This is the reason I'm okay with this. This isn't my Master Chief.
Yeah,
and
this
the
is
minute he takes his helmet off, the minute he takes his helmet off, he's showing me this isn't the guy you know. This is a different plot line. This is not the game that you play.
It's an alternate reality.
It's an alternate reality where he takes his helmet off.
Yeah,
and
I'm good with diverting that, but I want to say that it is possible to convey emotions without seeing a face.
I do not disagree, but it is more. I do agree on his particular point in the fact that it is more difficult from an acting standpoint to do so.
But I think body language can also do a lot of heavy lifting. It's not impossible. And you can get away with that.
But the difference is if you think about it from a standpoint of the way we play the games, we never have an opportunity because of what's happening plotline wise to see anything outside of battle.
I don't know. There's a lot of cinematics in the Halo universe where it's Chief and Cortana, and you can actually feel how Chief is portraying his
what
words.
I'm saying though is there's no reason for him to take his mask off.
That is 100% true.
There is no reason for him to take his mask off. Where in this, they have to, because you're dealing with the cinematic standpoint of them trying to create an entire group of people that have never played the game to like this.
Yes,
they need to have something there.
with that.
And honestly, I think they should have waited until the last episode to show it.
And to be fair, he did take his helmet off once in the actually I think it was twice in the games too, but it was at the very end, and it was the legendary ending too, where he just takes it off and all you see is him set it to the side and then it ends. So he did, but
the
again,
back of his head too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because I think it was Halo 4.
It was 4.
4, where they decided to go ahead and remove all of his armor and like showed his actual face, and it's like, bruh, you don't have to, just let it go. So
that is interesting.
I'm interested to see second season. I got to watch the first one.
I mean,
go ahead.
The first one was okay from a standpoint. The first episode with the Chevy Tahoe and all that crap.
Tahoe.
You can't convince me there's a good reason for that.
There was that, like, you could tell it was low budget and it should never have been for this movie
Well,
or for
probably
this
Chevy
show.
put in some of the money, so it was advertising on a sub level. But I mean, you can't tell me why in 2025 on not Earth there's a Chevy Tahoe, like a 2020 Chevy Tahoe in the back. There's no reason for that. Nobody took that junk across space. Nobody
500
cares.
years in the future.
Yeah, 500 years in the future. Nobody did that.
500 years in the future. That's what kills me. Is like, you could have made that thing look different or rusted or broken down or anything.
Yeah. Age
What
it.
do we have from 500 years ago that is still in working and driving order?
Oh, he's
Nothing.
right there. God. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. That right there is going to get a
Wow.
YouTube most replayed moment right there.
I kind of wish that was for Raid, though, because we would have had the perfect Raider for it.
Oh, man. That was a little brutal.
I'm so used to making fun of old jokes about Pandora's that it's just gonna extend
So you
to
just
everybody.
you went straight ahead and just went straight to Oak. Let's go to the next oldest one.
Wow. Wow.
Don't worry, you get one joke on her now, and we'll call it even.
One, come on. You know it's both better than that.
100 then. Damn.
100.
I'm interested to see if this is if this makes it or not after this season. But it does look like it's going to follow a version of Fall of Reach, so I'm interested to see on that.
Yes,
An alternate version, obviously,
Yeah,
in which
of course.
Chevy is still making cars.
And a little quick throw in there for the Halo game. The battle royale that they were working on
Got canceled.
is gone. It's canceled. So that's not surprising. I'm not surprised at all. They were still working on Halo Infinite, I think, and they're building that up. Which
they
is
are,
where
but Halo Infinite Season 5 is going to be the last season for that, and then it's just going to be small stuff so that the team can go and work on new stuff.
Oh, that reminds me. 5 is not infinite, for the record.
Oh.
Halo
Isn't
Infinite
it,
means
though?
Halo Infinite 5 patches is, I guess, all that means. Didn't they say they were going to work on it for 10 years? It's going to be the one.
I think calling any game infinite is a misstep because you're setting yourself up for failure and opening the door for that kind of commentary, because that is like 90% of the commentary on the article and the news around it and posts on Reddit is like, oh, I didn't realize 5 patches meant infinite. It's like,
Yeah,
just
like
don't call your game infinite. No game thus far, even World of Warcraft, which is like chugging along doing its thing, is going to be forever. It will not.
no. I mean, they have the Infinite Dragonflight in it, but even so, and Halo Infinite would have been fine if they wouldn't have been so aggressive at the beginning, going, "This is the Halo game. This is what we're supporting. This is what we're going to grow, and we're going to keep this game active for years and years." Okay, that didn't work out too well for you. That's
No,
very well.
I think this is, I believe this is a case of Microsoft should have stepped in, and I think they did, but they did it last minute. So when they came in and they brought Joseph in to kind of save the day in a way, I think they came in way too late. But it should have been to where Microsoft says, look, we are hands off with every studio it's out there. But when it comes to Halo, every month, Phil Spencer needs a report on his desk that says where you are, what's happening, and some type of, concept of.
I'm surprised
everything.
he should get a report like that from every one of his studios.
He
and
will
go
to
over
a
it for, like,
degree, because they got to know budgetarily what they're spending their money on.
fair.
But he's hands off when it comes to allowing the creativity to happen.
Do
And I
whatever they
think
want.
that this is one of those where Phil needs to go, that's not the way the Halo universe works. Why are we doing it this way? Like, you're the studio, you're 343 Studios, specifically built to build Halo games.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And
They
Halo
need to
made
go
the
back. They need to go back and build the foundational story for it and grow from there. Like, go back and look at why Halo 1 through 3 was so popular and still is to this day. That trilogy is probably one of the best trilogies in art. I mean, I'm willing to even put it up there with like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, as sort of like full beginning to end. You meet Master Chief Frozen, and you have no idea who he is. You go through this like traumatic event. You're thrown into the fray, literally into the war, and you
Yeah.
play that whole war out, and then it ends, and he is cast off into space. Every part of that is important. The characters you meet, the tragedies that he's endures, like everything
Well,
is
and I
good.
think the cherry on top of that trilogy is that we got Reach as well, which was
Ugh.
like, here's the precursor. Here's
The
why
prologue.
Master Chief is the only one that you see in that stuff. Like, it was just like the little icing on the cake that it was perfect. I love
You're
Reach.
not wrong on that though. Like on the using the Lord of the Rings part of that, except it's sci-fi versus fantasy, but it's
Yeah,
still one of
yeah.
those where it's like, if you think about what Peter Jackson did, he gave us Lord of the Rings, and then he gave us The Hobbit. You know what I mean? Like from that
See,
standpoint of
that's
it.
how you do it. You're like, here's this,
You know?
you're thrown into it. You're
So-
just as confused as the characters, and then you get the exposition later. It's perfect.
But I do find because Peter Jackson even he was wanting to produce the movie, and then Spielberg wanted in on the movie, and Spielberg ended up with the TV show, and I don't know what happened to his integrity at the end of the day, but whatever.
Somebody bought it.
Yeah. But I feel like the version, if y'all remember, they used to have the clips, the commercials for Halo 3 that Neil Blomkamp did and was produced by Peter Jackson, where it showed like the suit being put on, you had the battle scene that was happening, all that stuff, and then you saw the falling from Earth and all that stuff, the battle that was happening at the time. All that was Neil Blomkamp that was doing it, and that's who was supposed to do the movies. And they were going to be produced by Peter Jackson because he was working on The Hobbit, I think, at the time. But I mean, how much different of a world would it be if we had those 3 movies and then come in with Reach, do it, right? And then just like, okay, done. And then you go, all right, we're going to do a 4th, but we're going to have a writer do it. That's the right way.
Yeah.
And we're going to complete it instead of going, all right, Master Chief is waking up. We're going to give you a story of something that you've never heard of ever. And then that movie is going to end. And then the next movie is going to start up completely different. Makes absolute no sense compared to the last movie that you did. But now, had you read the newspaper article that we put out 5 years after the other movie was released, then you would have gotten it.
You know, I was just thinking about like how they could have done a Halo 4 style. You know, they could have passed it off to the Arbiter and kind of had him, because you could play
Carry
the
the
Arbiter,
torch.
you know him. Yeah, like you've got a rapport with him. Have him go out hunting or trying to basically mark the other Halos around, make sure none of them are active. Something happens, big war plays out, and then the end of that, the Arbiter's trilogy, he finds Master Chief's ship, like floating out in space. He
they could have
actually
a
finds the
bestie
beacon,
reunion.
and then everybody loses their shit because Arbiter found Chief. He needs his help, but you gotta wait. You got your 3 trilogies with Arbiter, and then he finds Chief.
Why can't we
Like-
have that? Arbiter, like, their
The Arbiter was
romance
a
is
good
the
character.
best thing. I loved
Oh,
them
it's
as
awesome.
best friends. Like, and
The
then
Arbiter
for
is just
Arby to
great in
get his
general.
own series and find Chief at the end. Oh, it would have been so good, Chicken. Why didn't you tell this to Bungie or 343 or
So
somebody?
Because he does have the right to have his own game too. Like, he's a strong enough character to carry it. Like, people are like, "Oh, you don't want to play an alien?
Yeah, you do.
You best goddamn believe it. I will play an alien."
You
Well,
did
and
play.
Well,
I
and the
know.
other thing about it is having having it to where you could literally create his entire story if you wanted to. And then, like, let's say the first one ends when he meets Chief,
Oh my
Right.
god, that would be
right?
fantastic.
So the first one ends when he meets Chief,
You're
goes through
fighting
all that,
humans for the first game. Oh,
right? And so you go through all of it, and then like the mindset change, everything that goes along with that, and then going out, because Halo 3 is him and Chief working together. And then so the next game after that would be after Halo 3, right? So you have the
Mhm.
trilogy would be it, and then you continue on. And so then you have that ending where you find the beacon thing that you're talking about after the end of the third one.
yeah. Like then
That's
you
awesome.
get to bring Chief back without trying to piggyback off of his relevance. It's like you're bringing him back because he's an important character, but you didn't need him to develop the lore or the story or the games or anything. You've got other characters you can do that with.
Right.
and everybody just builds up the giant fucking hype train that is Master Chief's return, rather than just Halo 4 where Chief comes back and it starts all over and it's like,
It starts all over.
yeah, and then it just goes downhill.
I do have a mini thought. Like, obviously, Halo is a very important franchise to some of us. Chicken and I met there. Oak put me to shame because I couldn't find him in a room when I tried to play Halo for the first time.
It's brought up all the time.
Yeah. So obviously, this is a franchise that's like close to our hearts. But I've been thinking about it, the canceled BR thing, and I can't. What's the major difference? And this is not me being like, oh, look, they already did it. This is an actual, I don't know and want thoughts on it question. What's the difference between the idea of a BR and the Lone Wolves mode that Halo already had? Where you just killed people. Aside from respawning?
Okay. Are you talking about like the Lone Wolves mode like in Halo 3 where it was just 8 people playing against each other?
Yeah.
BR styles tend to have a little sprinkle of RPG in it where you have to pick up items and different quality gears and things like that. Like the RNG in BRs is a little more prevalent there, whereas Lone Wolf you have your loadout and you go in fighting.
But
period.
It's not a loadout. With Lone Wolf, everybody started with an assault rifle and a pistol, and then you could find weapons on the maps. Granted,
but you were
with
fighting
Halo,
for those weapons
you knew where all
small.
they were.
Yeah, you were fighting for those weapons in small corridor maps. So
yeah, you would be.
Okay.
This would be. Think of the map, the middle part of the map from Halo Infinite. So like when Chicken was playing it, that middle part that was like quite large, that would be the whole map.
Yeah.
And now you have 30, 50 people, whatever, playing on that one map, and no one has a weapon. And me personally, I don't think you make them Spartans. I think you make them ODSTs.
Absolutely.
And then you drop them in. They can choose where they want to drop, but they have a little bit of flight that they can move from point A to point B. But every other BR that's out there, you can fly almost through the air to point A to point B. And I think you wouldn't want that if you did an actual BR for it. And then when you land, maybe you have a knife and that's it. But then you have to.
I think you need a gun because then it just falls into whoever finds a gun gets to kill all the knife people first.
Yeah, but I mean, all BRs are that way, really.
Yeah, all of the ones you spawn with nothing.
Yeah, but I mean,
if they have a frying pan.
Pistol and a blade, sure, I can see that.
Yeah, just a pistol and a blade.
Yeah.
Halo 1 pistol, then the game gets real fun.
Oh my god, somebody's sniping somebody from across the map, and the map is 7 miles wide. You know.
I mean, it was the base pistol.
Was that a sniper? No, he just got his pistol. Oh, okay.
God, imagine all the shorts that would come off of that.
Those pistols were so fun.
Oh god, they were beautiful. So much fun.
They
Going
were
around
awesome.
through levels with just a pistol going pop, pop, yay! Is the birthday skull.
Yeah.
More games need the birthday skull as an option. I'm just saying.
Right.
Can you imagine Cyberpunk with that?
All right, we could. I'm sure there's a mod for it. All right, we get like so wrapped up in these small articles because we're passionate about these ones. Yeah, I know. I should have guessed.
Look, I think that's how we have lots of things to say. Okay. You want to talk about the Microsoft, the Xbox developer direct since it was a Microsoft property, Halo?
Yeah, there was a few things. I gotta say, Avowed actually looks pretty fucking good. I see a lot of people doing comparisons between Avowed and Skyrim, and the similarities are pretty close. They're pretty close. It looks like there's a lot of inspiration taken from Skyrim to build this.
Similar named to that, because I swear there was one that was already called that or something really close that came out recently.
There probably is. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it was called, but I know what you're. I bet
Ollie could tell me. I bet he's gonna be. Well, Ollie could tell me, but he'll be like, "Oh, you mean that game that came out at the same time as that other game that I don't remember the name of?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, probably, but I don't know what either one of them are." Thanks, Ollie, and he'll be right.
But yeah, that one looks pretty good. I'm interested.
Well, I mean, arguably, you've got Obsidian working on it, and they've got the Fallout New Vegas is considered one of the greatest of all the Fallout games that's out there.
I have no
I think they've learned any mistakes that they might have made from God, what was the last game they did? Out something. Was it
Outriders?
No, not Outriders. What was it?
Outer Worlds?
Outer Worlds.
They had the sequel too, right? There's 2 of those. I know I played the first one, and then there was an announcement for a sequel. I'm sure
There's an
out.
announcement for the second one. I don't think it's
Is
out.
it not out? Okay, I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, but I think they're kind of learning as they go. It's going to be very interesting. And they're going back to a fantasy world, which, that was kind of where they started. But man, I see a lot of Grounded in these graphics. Like I was looking at it and I was like, okay, this is a serious version of Grounded. Got it.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Grounded, there's a Netflix show
What?
coming out for Grounded.
No, I didn't know that.
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Grounded version?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. Somebody was like, what was that, Baga?
That's interesting.
Yeah, like I didn't realize that. Somebody was talking about how the graphics were similar to Grounded. Yeah, they were like on Reddit, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the show's coming out," and I was like, "The show?"
No,
Yeah, they got the rights for Grounded, a Netflix series. So yeah, I did not know that. I thought I'd just throw that out there, and
It says it's a 2022 show.
Grounded.
Follows 4 friends who are planning to elevate their social standing, but their plans are upended when they stumble upon shrinking technology that makes them 2 inches tall.
Oh, it was probably landed. It was probably that was when it was announced they were making it. It was greenlit. They're still working on it.
Okay.
It's a TV adaptation, so I mean, it's a basic enough premise to make something out of.
Yeah, because the game was the game was released in September of 2022, so they probably announced around the same time.
Okay, well, today I learned. Apparently,
yeah,
I
there you
missed
go.
that announcement or just forgot about it.
I did too. I'm excited about it. I'm wondering if it's animated or like computer animated or how that's going to be.
I think it's going to be fine either way. Like the computer animated probably be pretty good.
I think I just kind of want the computer animated just because of the way the game looks. And modern animation sometimes now can be hit or miss depending on how they've got it stylized.
I think it's hard for actors to like interact with animated things too. You can kind of tell that it's a little.
We're still working on it. Unless you've got a huge budget to have a lot of stuff. I mean, like with Avatar, obviously, things like that. That's
why I like things like Jurassic Park, where all the animatronics, like the actors could see the things in front of them, like especially like breathing in their face.
Too.
They did, but there were several animatronics too.
They didn't rely completely on it. It was a mixture of the two, which helped you suspend,
disbelief.
Your disbelief during the CGI moments.
That's true. I don't disagree with that.
Like in things that are completely CGI, like you're just like, that's not really there.
You could tell that the actor's kind of having trouble figuring out what he's supposed or where he's supposed to be looking at during things like that. So yeah, sometimes. They also announced a Indiana Jones game, first person, which
it was already announced.
Looks good.
This is the first time we've seen footage on it.
Okay, so this is the first time that we've seen it. It's a first person.
The picture looks great. Like,
I'm excited about
like Harrison Ford to me.
I'm really excited about the first person part. I don't know how it's going to translate. The whip looks awesome coming out of that first hand, though. I'm very interested to see how this ends up being. I'm hoping the game is really good because we need zero, and I mean zero, Indiana Jones movies made ever after the last one was done.
That's it.
Harrison Ford's 922 years old. Yeah. There's no reason to make any more. Even if you're trying to continue on with a story of just having, that type of plotline is fine. I am glad it does not look like, which was what I was scared of. I'm glad it does not look like Uncharted. Because I like the idea of it being first person because it gives you a different feel.
I have not watched the trailer yet, so.
I've watched the trailer. It looks pretty good.
So how I guess because it's first person, that's how it's different from.
Yeah,
Uncharted?
it's different from an Uncharted in that respect. But the old Indiana Jones games were third person.
third-person puzzle ones like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
And then you had point-and-click ones back in the day too, which were awesome. But now, if you try to play them, they're this big on your screen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what size the original screen was. So
it's like, great, thanks, guys. But
I've heard you could maybe, because you have an emotional connection to Indiana Jones more than the rest of us anyway. I've heard a lot of complaints are that it's Troy Baker voicing him as Troy Baker. Is that true? I haven't watched the trailer yet. Is that
no?
True?
It does not sound completely like Harrison Ford, but it does sound a good bit like him.
Like Harrison or like Troy? Because what I read was that people were upset because it's Troy Baker doing Troy Baker in another game, and they were mad about it. And
it doesn't sound like Troy Baker to me. Like, until you said it was Troy Baker, I didn't know it was Troy Baker.
Okay, then Griff, you're gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah,
because you play a lot of and listen to a lot of Troy Baker.
I meant to watch the trailer. I just got really wrapped up. We tried out some stuff and. Been busy.
But I mean, that's like people when he did the Joker. There were people complaining about him not sounding
Joker
exactly
was really
like
good though.
His Joker was fantastic, and
that is definitely not Troy doing.
Like, it's
Troy.
obvious it's not Harrison Ford, but it's also not the guy that normally does Harrison's voice for other stuff. And so, but I didn't realize it was Troy doing it. I thought he did a great job on it from the little segment that you get to listen to. Mm-hmm. The humor seems spot on from the shows, for the movies, which is good because you got to get that same George Lucas feel to it. So I'm very interested to see how this ends up going. I'm hoping it works out really well because the old games were great. I enjoyed the old games, and I'm just hoping that this is, a good way to go forward. And if Troy's doing it, I mean, like I said, it's obvious it's not Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford is a grumpy old man.
I mean, that's what happens when you're 900 years old.
I still stand by the fact you need to pick up more unknown voice actors for these long-term roles. If you want the Indiana Jones things to become a franchise, get somebody who you can put in the role as not somebody you're going to be fighting with other companies to try to get to come to your game. Constantly.
At one point a while back, that there was rumors of rebooting the movie franchise and making Pratt Indiana Jones.
No, I don't like it. I'm not even, that emotionally tied to the Indiana Jones franchise, but I don't like that.
Yeah,
to put who is Indiana Jones?
Chris Pratt.
No.
He's fine as Mario. I like him as Mario. He's fine with Mario. That's cool. And
that's because he kind of sounds like Mario. Versus
he does. I'll give it to him. I was surprised, but he did a fine job.
Was there anything else big from that one?
Not really. Not anything else that was like
Sinuous Saga. Just some news on it. It's not a whole lot on there. I mean, we've watched a million videos of it. Basically, lengthwise, we did get a release date in May. May 21st, and then lengthwise it's going to be about the same length as the other one, which I think took me 6 hours to beat, maybe less. Because it is, if you've not played the first one, I will tell you now, the first one is very emotionally draining. So I'm glad that game's not any longer than it is. And I'm assuming it's going to be the same with the second one based on the videos that we've seen so far. But that game looks absolutely astounding.
Okay. Okay. Well, what else? Nothing.
The big one.
Well, the last of the Ubisoft one, which I called years ago. Ubisoft says get comfortable with not owning games, which again, with all of these subscription services. I mean, I bought Sea of Thieves and I don't even have access to the files or anything. Like, Microsoft is like, you can own it, but you can't touch it. It's like, but I don't want it here. I want to move it. And it's like, no, it has to be here. It's like, but why? It's mine. It's like, no touchy. You can play
I get it with a live service game like that.
Right. Like, I get that, but I mean, I still want to be able to move some of my stuff around so that I can make room and whatnot. But Sea of Thieves is like, no, I guess I'm going to have to uninstall it and reinstall it somewhere else.
That's what I did, is uninstall it and put it on a different drive.
Yeah.
all your stuff keeps, so it's not a big deal because it's attached to your account.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to play with the files, which I like to own things. It'd basically be like the company coming into your house with a little key for your disc. Be like, you want to play it? Here, you could play it, but let me know when you're done. I'll put it back in the case. Like, bro, stop that. But yeah, because Ubisoft is going to have their streaming or their little subscription service, and Origin's got theirs. I mean, I'm glad that Steam doesn't. Steam don't give. They you could buy subscription services on their platform now, like Origin Plus or Ubisoft U Club or whatever the hell it's called.
Is it not
got
Uplay
Game
anymore?
Pass. Is it Uplay?
It used to be
Uplay.
Uplay, but I don't know if they
Uplay.
rebranded it.
You play when we say you can.
Oh, damn! I like it.
That's right. That's right.
That's a lot of sass for a
That's
movie.
bad.
I don't. It doesn't bother me with subscription services, but now if I buy the damn game, like physically purchase the game, and it is a solo single player game, I'm gonna have issues. But we've always known for years if there's a server based on there, it's your limited time. So how much value are you putting in on that game that you're paying? So when it comes out on release and it's $60 or $70, is it going to be worth your time, or are you going to buy it on sale?
That's the thing, though, is that if you give Ubisoft what they want, you will not be able to buy those new games.
No,
you will
you
have to
do the
subscribe
subscription.
to play their new games.
Which
they
I
won't
think
sell them
is-
anymore. They will add them to their sub services, and then you can just play them by subbing to Ubisoft. It's like TV and everything. If you want to watch something, you have to pay a sub for their services to watch it.
Mhm.
I'm not going.
Anyway. Everybody get that?
That was terrible.
Pirate. It's pirate.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Sometimes the jokes are bad.
Well,
They
I mean,
hit
if
or
you don't
miss.
own it, then you're not stealing it, right?
Right. If I can't buy it, is it stealing? I'm just borrowing it. I'm just borrowing
I
it.
think that's gonna be a misstep for them, but I think Ubisoft's already starting to tumble down that misstep pathway anyway.
Well, they saved themselves a little bit because of the fact they got involved with the lawsuit with the FTC and Microsoft, the Microsoft acquisition that they had going on, because one of the stipulations was the fact that the people were worried about the fact that the exclusivity that would have happened with Microsoft's content. And so they partnered up with Ubisoft for this program. And so some of the Microsoft content will make its way over to Ubisoft's streaming service, but it won't be available anywhere else other than to buy for a streaming service. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out, because are we putting Call of Duty over on Ubisoft stuff? Because that's going to be weird having Activision stuff sitting over there, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know.
But I think Microsoft's looking at it, how can we put this on everything that we possibly can? All we care about is whether or not you're playing our games. So maybe, but they don't own that game anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. They're just gonna make money off of the subscription service. But I don't know anybody that has Ubisoft subscription service
You play
at
service?
all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they've got one that's attached to Luna, Amazon's streaming service. They've got one that's attached to Sony, I believe. I think you can get one on Xbox as well, added to your service. But it's a lot more expensive than EA's thing that's attached to Ultimate Game Pass. So I don't know. Because to me, EA's, and I hate to say this, but EA has the better of the streaming stuff available, or game stuff available, because
How
it's
much
just,
did they pay you to say that?
it's just a minor charge on top of whatever you're paying for your Game Pass,
Yeah.
and you're getting all the EA Vault stuff, which is nice because you got 100 plus games for Game Pass, and then you add another 100 plus games for EA for like $5 more a month or something. Where what is this going to be? $20-$30? Like, what are you going to charge me?
Independent of anything
Ubisoft?
else, kind of deal. Yeah, it's not bundled
Yeah.
in with something.
Yeah.
I mean, bundles are the way to go. I'll be completely honest. The only reason that we have like something like Disney Plus, which Nugget loves, is because it came bundled with our Hulu. And it
Yeah,
was,
it's
like,
an extra $1 for
yeah.
Hulu, so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
there's
mean,
just
like
no choice
Ubisoft,
not
if you
to.
want to go this route, one, you got to figure out which games you're actually going to run servers for, and not be like, oh, it's a year out. Guess you're not playing it anymore. We're turning it off. And two, bundle it with somebody else that's more successful than you, because by themselves, Ubisoft does not have a great track record, and people are not liking the vibe of it. So I mean, Don't let this be your villain origin story. You've already had too many attempts at that. Stop it. You're already the villain. You don't need another origin.
You're already the villain.
They got to be worse than EA.
But
They-
EA's
they could-
trying really hard to dig themselves out, which is why they've been relatively quiet lately. So, I don't know. Ubisoft probably winning at this point in the villain arena. Maybe that's what they're going for.
I don't know. I think EA has more bodies.
Oh, that's true. Past EA has done some pretty egregious things.
Don't worry, Ubisoft can catch up. There's still plenty of time.
Well, Ubisoft started closing studios and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
that
Well,
long
then
ago, and we
you
talked
also
about
had they had what was it, sexual harassment and stuff like that
Yes.
they've been covering up too.
Yeah.
Here we go. I like Embracer Group as much as like anybody else, but I will say their body count is catching up to
Yeah.
EA's
there
very
too.
quickly.
Uh,
It's one of those times where they got too many pets and they don't have enough room for them all. Some of them have to go outside.
everybody's business side is starting to show a little too much. All that.
Well, Embracer Group screwed up because they were
Yes.
guaranteed $1 billion, and the people that were going to give them the $1 billion pulled it before, and they already spent it before. So that's why they
Yeah.
ended up having to lay people off. So it was
Yeah.
like somebody going, "Oh, I'll give you money. Okay, let me go ahead and spend this." It's the person that spends their paycheck before they get their
Yeah.
paycheck on Friday, and
consider
then
who you were going to get that money from before you do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. Is there any other news, or do we want to talk about what we've been doing?
that's
No,
all the
no.
news.
That's all the news parts. And cool, we're an hour in. Let's get to the real good stuff.
That's
Hey,
how it
I
works.
think that we've had some good stuff in talking
Oh,
about
heck yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I kind of like doing it the opposite now. Kind of changes things up for us too. You
I
know?
like it. It's a good format.
Well, first of all, I'm going to jump in. I was playing Ghostwire Tokyo on stream. It's a super good game. It's solid. It's not anything like changing the wheel or anything like that. But as a
Reinvented.
game on Game Pass, play it. It'll. The story is like 11 hours, but I mean, it's a good game. Solid,
It has some
fun,
cool
lots of mechanics.
ghost designs, I think.
Yeah.
And it should be
Japanese
Should be a
lore.
forever Game Pass too, right?
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
meant
think it's
It's
a forever
Bethesda.
Game Pass one. Yeah.
Bethesda.
Bethesda published
So-
that one.
So I recommend it if you're looking for a game to play that's not like super intricate or like hardcore getting into. This is a short, sweet, packed game with lots of stuff to do. I endorse it. Endorse was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
I endorse it. It's fun. It's a solid game. Definitely check it out. Or you can come to the stream whenever I do get a chance to stream and watch it.
Not Tuesday, you'll be at work, but maybe
Yeah,
after
not
that.
Tuesday.
We'll see. You can come see the finale of it.
It's supposed to rain the rest of the week, so you'll probably.
It's supposed to rain
Yeah.
all week. But yeah, that I've been watching that. That's one I wanted to play, but I'm kind of glad that Chicken's playing it for me instead.
I like it. It's a really solid game.
It's been very enjoyable. They're also cute little. What are the kitties called? The kitty vendors. They're so cute.
Oh,
I can't remember what they're called.
Onryo? I think they're Onryos. No, they're not Onryos.
No,
They're
I don't know.
I don't know, but all the vendors are floating kitties. They're like ghost spirits that are
They're
like
so
harbors.
cute.
Yeah, and there are Shibas everywhere that you have to feed, and they'll take you to the treasure and whatnot. You can also talk to them and talk to the kitties. Some of the kitties do not want you to pet them.
No, you gotta
There's
respect it.
tanukis that are hidden
Yeah, a
everywhere.
little trash panda with a construction hat the last time you played. So cute.
Yeah, there's tons of little tanukis hidden all over the map. Lots of stuff to do. And to my surprise, that game is far more vertical than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's always nice when you get that extra movement option.
Allows for extra hiding of stuff too.
Yeah.
From a game
Palworld
standpoint.
also very vertical in a lot of spots.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we've all been trying that out. That one, do we want to go ahead and talk about Palworld? Because
Yep, got to talk about Palworld. Come on.
All right, we're down for Palworld. We're going for Palworld. then.
I'm
not in a hurry.
played it for like a couple of hours last night, and I went into it. I'll be 100% honest with you. I have sometimes a hard time at this point in my gaming career, attaching to a survival game that is cartoony, which I think is part of why I didn't really connect with Grounded when we were playing that, and then why I'm enjoying things like we did Conan, and I'm really still enjoying that because it's a realistic look to it and everything. And so when Chicken's like, we're gonna try this out, I was like, man, I'm probably not gonna like this because it's cartoons and it's basically Pokemon, and I don't really, I know it's sacrilege to be in the gaming sphere and be like, I don't really like Pokemon all that much, but I don't. I think it's okay, and I'm glad that everybody loves it, but it's not for me. Man, it was like an hour into it, and I was like, Chicken, just go ahead and send me a copy on Steam, because we're going to play it over there instead of on Game Pass, and I need all of these things. There's like, this one's so cute, oh my god, look at that one over there. So, yeah, we're gonna play it now.
The character design is really good. Like, they did a really good job, I think, on the animals that were there. When you
start reading it, though, like, this game looks on the outside like it's kid-friendly, and when you start reading descriptions and realizing some of the stuff you can do, it's not. It's very dark.
There is a very dark side to this game.
I mean, that's kind of how Pokemon is.
Yeah, but this is different from that because, okay, you can capture people, okay? Mm-hmm. You can capture people and you can force them to work for you, okay? You can capture people and butcher them for money. Like, there is an actual animation for butchering them and you get money from it. It actually glitches it out so that you can't actually see it.
But you know what's happening.
You butcher them for money.
Gross.
Or you can sell them. Like, the human trafficking aspect, the dark side over there to deal with the people, it's like.
But those people, from what I've heard, are also usually bad. So
yeah, the
are you just
a
vigilante?
People.
Yeah, because if you attack one of the good people, you become a criminal yourself.
Yes.
In the game world.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. But the ones that are raiders and capturing some of the pals and putting them in cages and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, like, they're 100%. Bad people. They will capture other trainers too and sell them, or just murder them. Like, that side is bad too. You're just doing less bad stuff than the other bad side. Like,
I'm stopping the bad people. If you really want to be real about it, it's vigilante justice, okay?
And telling them so that they can be productive with other people in society.
Exactly. It's called jail.
I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I played 5 hours ish, I think, on Xbox Game Pass, and some of the stuff that which it is, and that patch is way behind.
Apparently, I've read it's 3 to 6 months behind Steam.
Yeah, because Xbox, they've been like this forever. Xbox has a hard time approving and pushing out patches. And things like that. And I think when we were playing Left 4 Dead or something like that, it was, they only allowed so many patches at a time, in a time frame. So if you were putting out patches regularly for PC, those would have to backlog and then go to Xbox at one time because of Xbox's patch limitations. So
I remember the days of Left 4 Dead and Steam wasn't even that big. Like, Left 4 Dead got an update, and I think it was 6 months to get it from PC to Xbox. And then when we finally got it, it was crazy. But I mean, Steam got 4 or 5 patches between us getting that patch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, you want us to wait another fucking year to get the rest of these?
Well, and the thing is so if you are, I actually recommend anybody that's got Game Pass trying it out there first.
Yeah, try it out there. 100%. And then
because
once you're sold on it, go to Steam.
The things to know: 1, you cannot exit out of the game. You're going to have to Alt F4 out of the game. You can get back to the main title.
I read a thing that said the reason it's like that on Game Pass is because you use the Xbox button to leave the game for that, so you don't need it on Game Pass.
Dude, there's not even an options. You pull up Steam's version and it's got 6 things. You got settings, the credits, the options, the exit.
I'm just saying that's what I've heard was the justification for not having
there
it
is
on
options.
Game
Pass.
Pass.
Oh, is there an option one?
For your settings and stuff? Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
I was able to set all my stuff up, but I set my stuff up exactly the same on both.
Okay.
There are some of the things are different too, in that as you unlock. So your technologies as you unlock them. One of the things that, and I thought this was weird on how they did this, but you have 2 different types of currency that are in the game. One is going to be the regular blue skill ones that they give you, and then you have another one that's an ancient, whatever it's called, that's purple. And you get those from bosses that are around the world to be able to unlock. So what's different is there is a statue that allows you to power yourself up and be able to power some of your pals
Is that
up.
what those little green ones are?
Yeah, the green ones help you do
Okay.
those. That's your currency to be able to do that. But there's like a actual you'll
There's
see
a
statues
shrine
in
that
the
you have to
world.
build.
And so and then they appear in the game too. I found a couple that are in the world itself. But the with those in the Game Pass version of the game, you can buy an egg incubator with your regular power, like just you skilling up.
Yeah, I bought that.
And then the power one, the power statue thing, you use the ancient coin to be able to use it, or ancient crystal, whatever it's called, to be able to unlock it. In Steam version, it's the other way around.
No.
Oh,
I
I like that.
my egg incubator though.
So to be able to do the eggs, which I had so many of those, I was hatching on the freaking Game
I just
Pass
found one, but I didn't.
I've got to be able to kill a boss.
I deleted. Also, I've seen memes about like the first boss lady, the first trainer. That she just straight whoops you up and down the field.
Is that
People
on
go in there
purpose, though?
expecting. Well, she's a lot stronger than people were thinking because all these min maxers are like, yeah, let's go ahead and run through the game, and then they get to her and they're like, yeah, we got this, and she proceeds to open up the biggest can of whoop ass that you thought wrong.
I thought
That's
it was
must be the one in the tower. I haven't done her yet.
Yes, it's the one in the tower.
Yeah,
but yeah, we have it. I haven't even started. I played once. I'm a little sad I deleted that character, but I found a frozen egg. I didn't have an egg incubator, so I deleted that character. We all played last night. We got a little bit. I stopped playing because I didn't want to commit to that one.
Yeah, we were like,
I
no,
have
we're
a lot
playing
of
on Game
good,
Pass. Let's stop. We'll get it on.
I have good pals. Like I have a Firefox that has the 3-star or the 3 marked power up for attack. I was like, ooh, this is a very strong fire one. But I'm getting rid of that one too. I also got a llama that has massively increased movement speed, so my mount is fast, but I gotta get rid of that one too.
Melpaca, thank you.
Yeah, it's a Malpaca. So I gotta get rid of that one too. Heartbreaking, but I'm gonna delete that, get rid of it.
I'm just gonna uninstall the Game Pass one altogether.
Yeah, start on our server so that we've got it all.
But we're not starting it yet. We have Conan to finish.
Yeah,
I will say that there is one of the things too to look at for people that are starting out. If you're building your house, we'll say, use the flat roof.
Well,
they have not.
Yeah, the sloped ones.
The angled ones don't work.
The slopes are broken right now.
Yeah.
There were multiple things that I've heard that you could do. You could put a flat piece of roof on and then turn the angled and then get rid of the flat roof, and you can turn it, or you can turn the wall, turn it around, and then you'll be able to put it on sideways.
I'm just gonna go with the flat one. That's too much work.
The angled ones are broken right now.
I mean, yeah, but flat roof, you can stand on it. So.
But again, early access, folks.
Yeah, it is an early access game. So it will have
simple,
many updates.
And that's a minor thing anyway. It just means your bed won't work.
Add in like different like shapes for like foundations and stuff as well, kind of like the
You just want to make another tower. Get out of here. It's in every one of our games.
I know, right?
I like my towers.
You can make a square tower.
To be fair, go let them know. Like, if you got feedback, now is the time to do it. Like, ask for triangles. So that they can be like, yeah, that, because honestly, in Unreal Engine, that's an easy enough fix.
Also, if anybody, this same company did a game called Craftopia that's currently in early access as well. And a lot of people
in on the early access.
Yeah, a lot of people were worried about Craftopia being ignored now because of how popular Palworld is. That really liked the Craftopia game. One of the streamers that Chicken and I watch pretty regularly that was playing the game, a developer came in and said, we are still working on Craftopia.
I will say that is a concern. Anytime that a company is like, our game's in early access, here's another one that we're going to put in early access, is always a little iffy. And I'm glad that the developer's like, no, we are committed to Craftopia still. We're not exchanging our focus here. That's good. But it is concerning.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee they will be looking at this one, or they're going to try to wrap up development so that they can move on, because this game, Palworld, has just blown up bigger than I think they got.
Yeah, it caught on super fast, but it's because it's the open world MMO Pokemon that everybody wanted that Nintendo just wasn't going to get around to. And it's slightly different enough that Nintendo hasn't stopped them yet.
Well, and the thing about it is too, and what I really like about it is a survival game first
Mm-hmm.
with Pokemon characters in it
Well, and I don't
Yes.
have
versus
to
a
do
Pokemon game that has
battles,
survival.
which
You know what I
I
mean?
do,
Like if you
yeah.
take it, it's like Zelda. Zelda, you know, they've the last two Zelda games, they've created a survival-ish like element that's in there, but it's a Zelda game first, where this is survival first with the Pokemon element. I'm not sure though, as I progress, how I'm going to like them evolving into guns and stuff like the trailer had shown. That's the part I'm not sure if I'm
I
gonna
feel
like.
like it's going to be similar to Ark, though. Like, if you're not playing on a public server where you're looking to stay with the pack, I think it's not going to matter. Because
Yeah.
we never really got into using guns and stuff in Ark because we were playing on our own and our dinosaurs could do all of it themselves. Who cares? We don't need that.
But we will need them later on, like, because it's just kind of like the natural evolution of strength in the game. It's how you up the tier, and because bullets are like you have to craft bullets, so you have to create like this manufacturing line to be able to keep your pals building you
You're gonna have
ammo
to get a
so
bunch
that
of
you
the
can
sheep
keep.
to be factory workers, is what you're saying?
And for the record, Baka, in
The
the
cats
Game
are
Pass
really fast.
version, in the Game Pass version, you could only make one arrow at a time. They updated that in the Steam version. You make 3 arrows at a time.
Yeah, I
It's
saw that.
3 arrows
Yeah.
with that, and then the fire ones and the poison ones are 5 at a time.
Yeah,
I hope
so
that there's
that's
also
much,
this is
much
like
better.
a super minor, not a big deal. I know it's early access thing. I'll really hope there's more customization options in the future. I know they
Oh,
said they're
yes.
they're planning to implement a thing where you can edit your character while you're in game later on. But I mean, there was like, okay, do you want the cute ponytail hair or do you want 2 of the same kind of long hair girl hairs, quote unquote, or do you want short hair, which is like more unisex, or do you want to be bald? It's like, oh, well, okay, I guess me and everybody else on the planet's gonna pick this one. So, but
The other thing,
they
too,
do skin colors.
The Game Pass
It's-
version, you can't change your name.
Yeah, you can't change your name.
Yeah.
You can't change the Pokemon
can in
names
Steam,
or
but-
pals' names.
When I think it was Griff. Somebody you asked last night how you changed your pals, or was it Baka asking how you
Baka
changed your
asked
pals
how to
name?
change them, and you can't until.
Yeah, I looked at it and I looked at it and I didn't see like the little edit thing, and I was like, this feels like it should be here. It's a basic thing, and I said to myself, I bet money this is a broken Game Pass version. And I went and looked it up. Yeah, you can edit it on Steam. I even
Yeah.
loaded it up earlier, and it's got a little edit button right there. I was like,
Oh, I also
Of
on the Game
course.
Pass, and I don't know if it's been patched on the Steam version or not, but for Game Pass, I did my character creation and I picked a girly sounding voice. But then like once you get into game, I was trying to break a rock and I was like, this sounds like the male voice choice because I guess it just swapped them or negated it or I don't
I'm
know.
betting that was the Game Pass version of it.
mine did the
I
exact
can't-
same thing too.
Yeah, he was
I
running
play
around
as-
and it was like, I think these are backwards.
I play as a male character, so I don't know on that one. But
Yeah, I played as a male character and I sounded like I had the girliest voice. It was high pitch. I was like,
I mean, and I think
that-
that's fine
that's
that
not
you
the voice
can
that fits.
choose, but the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
the
yeah.
game, like, if I wanted to have a female looking model and then the male voice, that's fine. But I tried to pick the female one, and the game was like, nah, bro, this is what you sound like. I know there was an option,
Yeah.
but we don't care.
right,
But I think it was just because it did it to both of us. I think that with Game Pass, that version
did it
it's
to all
just
3 of
swapping.
us. It did it to me, you, and
Yeah, Kat said something about it
Kat.
too. So yeah, I guess the Game Pass version is just swapping the choices.
I know raids are going to get harder, but right now they need work on that because like raid,
Oh, we only
like
had 2, I think. So
we
I
had
didn't-
3. We had
Oh.
people who came in. We had a couple of the lizard ghost ones that came in. Then we had people who got stuck up there. And
Yeah, those people never
apparently
came down.
Yeah, apparently some of the pals can also steal your shit too. If you craft something and they're near
Yeah.
your base, they'll just take it
Little
off your
jerk.
bench and leave.
Yeah, it was like a wild pal that was in around our area, and I crafted a thing. I was like, okay, it's on the bench for you because I was trying to give it to chicken, and a pal just walked by and took it. And
yeah,
it's like,
I just unlocked the on the Steam version of it because I played it for another 5 hours last night. But the this I switched over. I had to rebuild. Okay,
Hey, it's
The-
okay. I don't blame you.
but I had to. I just unlocked the fencing, so I'm gonna be putting that up today.
yeah, we'll need that.
Yeah, because I'm like, my whole thing is, I know they're going to get more difficult, but soon as anybody tries to come into our area, they get wrecked real quick. because right now I've got I think 7 pals that are currently working, and so they
Yeah.
all just go into like whoop mode and everything goes nuts.
I think that what we had was fine for like the raids, but the fact that the random wildlife just gonna take your stuff, I was like, well, that's not
why you gotta
cool.
build up. That's why you got to build up defenses and ring the bell so that they know to keep the area clear. I will say that one of the fun raids that we have, we didn't know they look like they were like these little toucan things. I was like,
Baka
oh,
got
cool. I was like,
Oh, you had those as a raid?
Yeah.
yeah. Baka was
Oh
like, I was
my
like, oh, Baka,
God.
look at those. You can get those. And we waited. Mistake, by the way. We waited for them to come down and come around, and I was like, oh, they're so adorable. And then they started beeping, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh no, that's not good. We just started beating them, trying to kill them before they blew up on us.
Yeah, so with those, I happened upon them in the forest, and I was like, "What is that? That's awesome! I want that!" And so I shot them, and there was a pile of 3 of them together, and it was like, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I heard beep 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 beep, beep and like getting louder, and I'm like, "No, it's a bomb!
Yep.
What?"
They have an ability called self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I was like, and I was really close to being able to capture one the second time I ran into him. If I used one of the ones that has the freeze ability, and it was only halfway down. If I'd gotten it a quarter of the way down, I would have been able to capture the dang thing, but I was so upset.
I think Kat's problem with this game is gonna be because you have to beat up the pal and then capture it when it's low health. Is gonna be she doesn't stop hitting it until it's dead.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
stop,
like
Cat. You gotta throw it.
You don't have to beat them to death. You just have to beat them to low health.
I will say this. One of the things I had to learn to do, especially as your character goes up in size, is always have, like when you go back to your little PAL box, take one of the smaller ones with you, even though they're going to increase as you play the game. Take one of the smaller ones with you, so you have like a level 6 if you're trying to fight a level 5, and not a level 15 if you're trying to level 5. If you're trying to capture it.
I just when I'm capturing,
I have a
I don't
baseball
have them
bat.
out.
I just club them to death.
Yeah. You just club them until you're ready to throw the thing.
Some of them.
An interesting bug with the game I noticed, like your food and stuff that is on the timer. If you hit the sort button,
hit the sort
timer.
It resets the timer?
It resets the timer every time you hit sort. So make sure that you're about every 10 minutes hitting sort, and then do the same thing when you have a feed box. Go in and hit the sort button for that too, and it'll reset all the food timer for right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a bug. They'll fix that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But right now, yeah, definitely do it because it comes in handy. But I've got so many cranberries or whatever the berries are that are in the
yeah.
The red berries I've read are the shit for the food. Like that's all you use later on in game. Since you just make a berry farm and you just farm berries and you've got thousands of them, you just cook them or eat them because I think it's like 4 and you're full. So just only use berries late game.
I will say when we were playing last night, I felt like I was having to eat an extraneous amount to ward off the hungry debuff. At first I was like, I heard something though, and I was like, the fuck is that sound? What's growling at? It's your stomach.
I don't know how you don't see the red letter.
I saw it after I heard it, and it didn't correlate with me at the time.
It's only in the middle of the screen. That's cool.
It's not. It's small. It's close to the bottom. But it was one of those things where it's like I just didn't realize, but I felt like I was having to eat every couple of minutes. And Chicken's like, well, later in game that's negligible, but right now it's like.
I mean, I wasn't eating every few minutes. I literally it would be 30 or 40 minutes later. I'd eat 4 berries, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it again until later.
Well, I mean, you get enough meat depending on because every time, even when you don't kill something, you just capture it. You just get the meat off of it.
And chicken skewers and things like that.
Yeah, and so what I do is I'll pile as many of the raw ones up, and because that sort button works. Then I can get as many and keep them on there, and then I throw them on a fire and allow one of my fire people to just go ahead and make the food for me.
They're not people; they're pals.
Pals, have those do it, and then go on from there. Well, I mean, it is people if you keep the people.
I was about to say, unless you are catching people.
I'm not doing that. It's just going to be Pokemon because they're.
I will catch people, and I will sell them too.
You know what?
I will use them to buy other pals.
I just want to know if there's like a pal per Pokemon so that you could find all of the I guess that's like supposed to be a Bulbasaur. I just want a Mr. Mime. It's not quite a people, so it doesn't count.
I found one. It's not a Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime is my favorite Pokemon.
But I haven't found it yet on this one, but it's like the face looks similar to that, but instead of having like the body and the weirdness
it's the
that goes
little
along.
dum-dum gumdrop thing with leaves on its head.
No, it doesn't have leaves on its head.
Well,
it's just
one
that.
cute. That's my
Yeah,
idiot.
that one's.
I call him my idiot.
But it has long arms that come down.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like really long arms and a head, and then that's it.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that now. That might
And
be a
I was
little
like,
uncanny valley.
I didn't get to use it yet when I decided to switch over to the Steam version of it. So I'm like, okay, but I did capture one this morning. That I can't remember what the name of it. Shiba, maybe. But it's like it looks like a ghost basically, but it's fluffy instead of like, but it looks like a ghost. And I captured the mom, so it's like massive.
Oh, you got a big one.
Yeah. It's huge.
There's a bunch of different variations of them too. You can get big ones, little ones. You can get shiny ones. So keep your eyes out. If you hear
that, I captured one. They're called Luckies, by the way, not shinies, sir.
Luckies.
I caught a lucky. I almost caught a lucky last night.
Ooh.
And my dude that was with me ended up killing the lucky. So I was so upset about that. And then I ended up finding one on a beach late last night and getting it. And I was like, okay, I'm putting you away and I want to capture this on my own. And so that's what I ended up doing. I was able to capture it. But so I got my lucky one.
You know what's really going to suck about this game specifically, though? Is not anything about the actual game itself. The fact that because we're not done with Conan, we're not actually going to get to play Palworld yet, which means you can't talk to us about it. So Oak is going to be playing, but he can't tell us anything about it because we want to play it on our own.
We're going to finish, which means, Baka, don't you go finishing the game.
Yeah, Baka was already in Palworld this morning. It's like, dude, don't do it.
Yeah,
do it with the rest of us.
I just got set up in the beginning area.
Do it with the rest of us.
Yeah, well, all of that, you won't be able to use that on our server.
Yeah, there's no tutorial area on the servers.
Yeah, on the servers, which is super nice. Because you just pick where you want to spawn on the actual servers.
Yeah, that's where I was watching a friend of mine play last night, and he had it was both he and his girlfriend stream, so it's their community together, and so he went out and found his little area or whatever that he's at. And I'm sitting there looking, going, where are you at? And then finally somebody asked the same thing in chat because I'm over here playing Palworld. And so I didn't ask. Somebody asked in chat and he goes, oh, you just start wherever. And he goes, that's what I did.
For the record, just a PSA for everybody. We did some experiments last night to figure out how guilds work and how playing together works. Okay. Guilds are only allowed one PAL base until you level it up, and then you're allowed 2 bases, and then if you level it all the way up to max, you're allowed 3 bases. Now, if you want to go out and start your own, you can't. You can only have 1 PAL base at a time. So no matter how many people you have, it's still 1 base.
Which I think is kind of
only 1 base is an option. Everybody has to share the 1 base. And if the person who put the PALs in the PAL base to work the area goes offline, those PALs don't work.
What?
Okay.
They sleep.
Early access. Early access. There.
You can also swap them out for your own, so that when somebody logs off, you take them out of the work rotation and put your own in.
But you don't share them?
What?
You don't share them, but you're part of the same guild.
Yeah,
like everybody has own personal ownership for their PALs, and they'll only work when that person's on, but you can swap them out for your own. So
I guess that's a security reason for that. Like one of those things where somebody doesn't kill all your PALs because you got mad at you or something.
Yeah, so how, like, when we play, we're going to basically put markers around the map and try to be near a teleporter so that we could see where everybody has kind of settled down at. But everybody has their own independent area that they're going to build up however they want. They'll have their own PALs, their own system, their own buildings and things like that.
You could even, some people could even set it up to where, like, because it's going to be based on style of play anyway, right? So you turn around and you go, okay, it's going to require you to, because the game requires you to, in order to be able to increase bases, and it requires you to be able to do a certain amount of things anyway. So you'll get your basic stuff down, and then you can go, okay, chicken, what are you going to specialize in? You're going to go, okay, I've got wood and rock are going to be the main thing going on over my thing, and go, okay, you know, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to be working on not berries, because berries are, everybody will have that, but you know, something else, right?
Feed 'em,
and
right?
then because you can in the game, and this is the Steam version, in the game, if you are encumbered, still use the grappling hook to move.
Oh.
They'll change that for sure.
Yeah. So right now, it is one of those, if you're close by, you can put yourself encumbered and still use the grappling hook to get yourself to one of the portals to send yourself back. So one of the things that was Co was suggesting was there was near the tutorial area for the main thing, there's a mountain up there, and there's like 7 giant ore nodes that are there. And so once he increased his base to 10 and he could get a second base, he put a base right there in the middle of that. That way he just fast travels to one, and then he does all the ore,
And then goes
zooms
back.
over to, uses the grappling hook to get back to the middle of the base, and then goes back.
Yeah,
And
they'll
I was like,
change
that's
that.
brilliant.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot to this game, like a lot more than what meets the eye. Because I remember I even told them back in October, seeing a little bit of this, I was like, "This Palworld's going to be our next one. Keep an eye on it." I personally did not think that it was going to explode like this.
I thought people were going to like it, and I knew that there was going to be people that were going to think it was going to be a scam because Craftopia is not done yet,
Yeah.
right? But I had no idea that it was just going to go.
Yeah, like this thing went boom, and
really
I
blew
mean
up,
it
yeah.
went boom. In 3 days, I think they've sold 4 million copies. Like, you talk about an influx of money, holy shit. And I have to say that they will probably be like, they'll put their team working on Craftopia. You guys focus on Craftopia. You work on it. You finish
now they can afford whatever they want to do.
Yeah, but I guarantee the majority of their team is going to be building off of this momentum. This right here, you have a chance. Don't fall like Temtem did. Everybody remember that?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't remember Tim?
No.
Yeah.
Remember? It was another Pokemon style game, but the problem is that group did not listen to their community. They wanted more monsters, they wanted more areas, more things to do, but the developers decided to go against their community and focus on the battling and the PvP aspect of it, and it died. They got an average of 500 people.
Now I kind of vaguely remember that one. Yeah.
Well, the other thing about Tim too was the fact that it was more of the Pokemon element and less of the survival element. And versus focusing on the main part, which is going to be the survival, and you just so happen to have all the Pokemon part of it.
But that's what people wanted. They wanted exploration. They wanted more of the world, not just catching and battling.
Yeah.
Which is why this game offers you like more of that. Like there's bandits, there's an economy, there's resources. Like you have to build your own ranch and things like that. You got to build up your compound and things like that. So there's more to do than just catching. You can't even battle right now. Like there's no PvP in this game yet. They're working on it very closely, but it's not there yet.
Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit further. I think we're gonna play Conan tonight. And get a little further because there's still a lot of stuff that we've just not done in that game, but we're not abandoning it to start Palworld, no matter how much the new shiny seems new and shiny.
Yeah, we're gonna own it. We're gonna be able to play it whenever we want. I got the server set up. I got it ready. We can play it whenever.
I've invested too much in Conan for us to abandon.
Yeah, we're not gonna abandon it. We're gonna finish it out. Technically, winning the game is getting your bracelet removed, which we're not gonna do because that deletes your character.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
So
delete your character?
Well, because you escape.
Yeah, you take your bracelet off and your character leaves the exile lands.
Yeah.
So your character's gone. He goes out and does his life. Your character is permanently deleted.
My character lives with all of the friends that I've made. Thank you very much.
Wow, I didn't realize how that worked.
Yeah, so
I guess
that's
it makes
the main
sense
objective
though.
of the game, which we will get the pieces for it, but we're not going to remove it and leave. So,
are y'all that close?
No.
We are strong enough. Oh, yes, we are. We are way strong enough to be able to just go and absolutely demolish whatever we come up against. We've gotten pretty far into the.
Some of us just make bad combat decisions.
Yeah, that's just your own personal choice. But
He
yes,
said strong enough. He didn't say mentally there.
That's true.
Yeah, like
That's
we have
true.
enough gear and weapons to be able to smoke most of these enemies. We've dealt with some seriously big enemies, so
Speaking of
We'll-
which,
we'll be
before
able
we
to
actually get
handle it.
started tonight, we will be having a come to Jesus meeting about organization around the base before
yeah,
we do
yeah.
anything.
Good luck. I've tried it. And that is why I am glad that Palworld will offer me my own world. You people can disorganize your own places.
It's so
Leave me and my
frustrating.
boxes alone.
I think we'll be playing Sunken Land again tonight. So
Look, see,
We've been
you've got
enjoying that
your
one.
survival game to go and invest in
well,
until we can all
the
play
Valheim
Palworld.
thing is Valheim was being glitchy. We'll go back to Valheim probably when I get back from Disney. Again. Again. But for right now, it's one of those where it's like just do Sunken Land because it's on my personal PC. No one else can touch it. When I go back in,
It's how you left
it's-
it.
It's how I left it.
How I
And
left
everybody
It
can
is as it
join
always
in
was.
if I want to. If I can go in and grab some stuff that I planted and all that stuff and set it up for that and reorganize when nobody's there.
Good plan. Good plan.
I like it a lot.
I know we're winding up. I just wanted to PSA real quick. I'm still working on the whole audio situation just because our previous audio host was incredibly expensive for what we're using it for. Not that Podbean's a bad host or anything, it's great, but for somebody of our caliber, that's a little expensive. So I'm trying other options. I just haven't gotten them to be
Line up
friends
right.
with the things that we already have yet. So I'm trying.
So we're working on it. We'll get there.
So
we're working on fixing
the
it.
YouTube stuff is available. As always, there's nothing changing there. It's just I've got to figure out how to make these other audio hosting sites be friends with an existing podcast on like Spotify and things like that. So it's gonna go there. It's just not right now. And I'm working on it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought I'd have it ready by 402, like first of the year thing. And then I got busy with a bunch of other stuff. And honestly, I forgot all about it. I won't even lie. Christmas holidays and everything, forgot all about it. And then I'm now in a scramble to make it happen. So that's where we are.
It happens.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get it set. So we'll get it.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, that's it. I'm gonna go do chores before I can go back to Conan.
Well, we
Palworld. I mean,
Palworld. We appreciate everybody that hangs out every other week and Infinite Respawn. You just hit the little subscription button, the little bell down at the bottom, and then you can find us here while she tries to figure out what to do with the
Where
audio.
else? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll still be here. That's what you got to know. We're still here. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. Where when Chicken has the opportunity, he'll be playing some more.
He always pings on Discord, so.
Ghostwire Tokyo. So yeah, feel free to jump into the Discord. I always ping whenever I go live.
Yep. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDBOaktree or over on Kick as well. I'm there usually on Sundays, sometimes during the week when I have an opportunity. Hopefully, be able to get a schedule back up and running soon. When I don't have to be outside all the time, and especially when it's been 20 degrees outside for a high in the morning
It's gonna
time.
be like 65 this week and stormy all week.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, like if we want to meet in the middle, I'll take 65 and rainy on and off for the whole year. As long as it's 65 in the afternoon and like 38 at night.
No 38 at night. You stop it.
No. You got to give and take. If you want it warm during the day, I get it cold at night. Get a damn blanket or a sweater.
Fine.
If only we could negotiate weather.
For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
See you.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.